So, episode 4. In Chinatown, no one thinks about forever. Needless to say, this contains spoilers. So go watch Warrior and come back here to see if we picked up on the same things. The episode opens up with the aftermath of the attack at Nellie's vineyard and a toy collecting the survivors and taking them back to Chinatown. Mai Ling goes into business with Bernard the banker, but is this a wise move? Meanwhile, Nellie loses her court case, with the judge siding with Strickland. Special Agent Lee goes to the opium den, presumably because he still keeps getting the blackouts. But he discovers something far more interesting instead. Leary visits Strickland over getting some jobs for the Irish. The police raid the Hopway headquarters, but find nothing. The police chief beats the crap out of Young John and has to be stopped by Bill. Young John is later arrested. Assam and Yan Mi have moved the printer and are discovered, and Assam fights off the police with a little help from Yan Mi. The episode ends with Mai Ling being arrested. So, the highlights for me. I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. Yeah, it's a slower burn, it's more character driven and less flashy. Or does it just feel like that because 3 episodes dropped last week? But I enjoyed it a lot. It's setting things up for what's to come. And it gives the actors a chance to shine. And it gives newer audiences the opportunity to see it's more than just a kung fu show. The opening is a scene of utter destruction and desolation, and we see Lai pulling bodies from the buildings. It's the second time now we've seen a toy vulnerable and scared, at least to a point. She feels the girl she's lost deeply, and at that moment she's in shock. Speaking of a toy, her being back in the brothel was done really well, and seeing her suit up and metaphorically putting her armour back on was obviously very deliberate and very satisfying. Especially as we, the audience, know she's wounded but seething with anger. And more importantly, we know what she's capable of. And I think we're all looking forward to what happens next. Lai has also been deeply affected as well, and is shaken and full of rage. She almost bottles a Hopway bloke who is treating one of the girls badly. And I'm looking forward to seeing her off the leash, as she's lost a great deal. Assam and Yan Mi's growing relationship is featured, and we get some insight into her past and plans for the future. Seeing these two together is good, and they seem to have good chemistry, and the budding relationship seems natural rather than forced, at least for now. Buckley's campaign manager tried doing a hit piece on his competition, though it didn't go down as expected, and he turned the tables with an explanation about how his brother-in-law was wounded during the Civil War and the addiction is from painkillers. Once again, the guy running against Buckley comes off as sympathetic and more human than Buckley could ever portray. I like this scene, if for nothing more than Buckley is a horrible man, and it's always nice to see him on the losing side, even if it is indirectly at this point. Special Agent Lee is about to shoot up some opium when he spots a Hopway member so high he's barely conscious. So on a hunch, he nicks his money. And this will have potential serious consequences going forward. We get another very interesting scene with Lee Young and Pak. They're having a sparring session, and the dialogue is both interesting and prophetic on Lee Young's part. He's worried, and rightly so it turns out, about the amount of time that Mai Ling is spending in the pond. And once again, it seems like Pak is planting the seed of doubt in Lee Young's head. Speaking of Mai Ling, there's a scene with her and Bernard where he talks about the investment he made on behalf, as she put down a load of cash earlier in the episode. He makes a move and tries it on with Mai Ling, but she immediately turns him down. But his wife has seen this, and, well, it doesn't bode well. Special Agent Lee has been investigating the counterfeit money after that guy's cash that he nicked, and he discovered it's only found in Hotway territory. Luckily for our gang, whilst in the opium den, Chow saw him and tipped off the Hotway that it's only a matter of time before they're raided. Which of course they are, in a scene that shows what a despicably horrid man the new police chief is, as he batters the crap out of young Jun. It's not until Bill has to step in and stop it, and Bill is visibly afraid of the chief when he stops him from essentially killing young Jun. You can see how conflicted Bill is with the chief. He's visibly shocked at the level of violence directed against the Chinese, both innocent and Hotway affiliated. Not only that, but the chief is surely putting a target on his men's back with the level of unnecessary violence he uses. I think we're all looking forward to this guy getting his comeuppance. Now, if I had to pick on the show at some point, it's the scene with Atoy and Yan Mi moving the printer. The music it's set to is awful, and at least to me, feels out of place. But it's a small nitpick on my end. We have a brief fight scene where he takes on some cops to enable the escape. They later report to Bill what happened, and they describe the assailant as fast and went through them like butter. Now I think Bill knows who it is, but he says nothing. After all, he knows how good Assam is, and I think he's growing more sympathetic towards the Chinese community. A bit like Lee was in the previous seasons. We're seeing Lee's influence rub off on him. They have a nice scene after the raid, and Bill tries to make sure Lee doesn't take it as a failure regarding the raid. That's all on the police chief's back, with Bill commenting that he's a fucking lunatic, so he is. Yan Mi and Assam escape with the printer and they're holed up somewhere. Now, I've said their growing relationship feels organic, and it's been nice to watch. But they end up having sex, which felt weird in the context of the scene. She berates him for his actions 1 minute, yet seconds later they're bumping uglies. Now maybe she's feeling confused because 1 minute he's saving her and the next she's saving him. It's a tense time and hormones are flying about, but for me that scene felt forced. Maybe I'm just an old romantic and I wanted a better scene for it. We got a scene with Leary at Strickland's house, and we see the judge who oversaw Nellie's compensation cases there. So of course Strickland was always going to win. Leary enters as we see Strickland practicing his sword skills. A nice bit of foreshadowing there, which I'm sure will be a great scene when him and Atoy finally clash. While there, he proposes an alliance with Leary and offers to teach him the rules of the game. Now I wonder if this is going to corrupt Leary in some way, much the same way as Mai Ling being in the pond so often has. Which leads us nicely to the end of the episode, which of course is Mai Ling being arrested for criminal solicitation. Namely, apparently Bernard, who came onto her, has thrown her under the bus, and the scene ends with her being dragged away. This episode has a lot going on in it, and I'm looking forward to where it takes us. Now, it took me my second watch to realise, oh shit, both leaders of the Tongs have been arrested. And we know from the trailers that Mai Ling proposes a truce. Are we going to have Assam and Lee Young working together to help get them free? That would be a nice switcheroo. Enemies once again having to join forces against a common foe. Mai Ling speaks English, so she has a slightly better advantage than young Jun. I wonder, will this bring his father back? It's unlikely, I guess, but who better to save his son? Would they have Mai Ling somehow helping him to gain his trust? Isn't this nice playing the guessing game? No matter what happens, we as fans win. And that's not often a thing in the current state of entertainment. I've made no secret that this show is really good, so it's disappointing to see that it's not featured anywhere on the Max advert. Not even a title drop. Why aren't they promoting this as a flagship show? Right, oh, these are my thoughts on the episodes. What are yours? Anyway, that's all from me. Ta-ra for now.